Hello everyone, when you come across this kind of problem, um, what you need to do is that first of all, you just have to recall that from trigonometry, you agree with me that cos square theta, or let me say cos square x now in this case, plus sin square x equals to 1. So now, the implication of this is that if you make cos square x the subject of the formula now, you have cos square x equals to 1 minus sin square x. So now you can replace cos square x for 1 minus sin square x in this equation now, in this particular equation, meaning here. So it means that you can actually rewrite this and say 2, 1 minus sin square x plus 2 sin square x equals to 3. Now, you agree with me that from the law of indices, m raised to power a times m raised to power b equals to m a plus b. And at the same time, m raised to power a divided by m raised to power b equals to m a minus b. So this means that 2 1 raised to power sin square x can be rewritten as 2 raised to power 1 divided by 2 raised to power sin square x. Because when you convert this back, you get this because division comes with a what? With a minus sign, while multiplication comes with a plus sign. It means if you write this equation now, if you write this equation here, you'll be having 2 raised to power 1 divided by 2 raised to power sin square x, then plus 2 raised to power sin square x equals to 3. Now, to simplify this, you can say let p equals to 2 raised to power sin square x. It means you've now equate your sin square x as a new unknown, which is p. So it means you'll be having 2 over anywhere that you see 2 raised to power sin square x now, you put p over p plus p equals to 3. So it means that from this place, we can as well say 2 over p plus p over 1 equals to 3. So let's find, okay, let's say it's p. P in p, that's 1. So times 2, that's 2, plus 1 in p, that's p. P times p, that's p squared equals to 3. So now let's cross multiply. You have 3p equals to 2 plus p squared. So it means if you convert this into a quadratic equation, you will be having a 0 equals to minus 3p, because this comes here, plus 2 plus p squared. So let's rearrange this now. You have p squared minus 3p plus 2 equals to x. So in this place now, you can actually use factorization method or use your almighty formula, but I believe factorization method will be much more easier. So when you multiply this and this, you have 2p squared, right? So what are you going to multiply that will give you 2p squared, but you had and give you 3p? So that's what, so the factorization for this is minus 2p and 1p, because minus and minus 1p, because minus 2p times minus 1p, that's minus, and that's 2p squared. Why minus 2p plus minus 1p is minus 3p. It means you can write this as 2p squared minus 2p minus p plus 2. And in this case now, if you factorize this, what is common here? P is actually common. It means we can bring p out and say p minus 2. And what is actually common here as well, minus 1 is common here. If you bring minus 1 out here, minus 1 out of this, this is minus 1p now, so this remains p. When you bring minus 2 out of this now, you have minus 2, because minus 1 times minus 2 will give you the plus 2 back here again. So that's just what you have to do, equals to 0. So this means that p minus 1, let's just equate this, p minus 1 equals to 0, p minus 1 equals to 0, and p minus 2 equals to 0. So this simply means that p minus 1 equals to 0 and p equals to 1. So for p minus 2 equals to 0, p equals 2. So your p is either 1 or 2. But don't forget that we are not asked to find p, we are asked to find x. Now, you are the one that actually simplified the problem by looking for another unknown. Now, let's recall back this. Don't forget that we say our p is 2x now. Okay, let me just solve that here. Sorry. So we can actually say now that since recall that p equals to 2 raised to power sine square x. So when p equals 1, it means 2 raised to power sine square x equals 1. Now 2 raised to power what will give us 1? We all know that what? 2 raised to power 0 will definitely give us what? 1. So it means we can write this and say 2 raised to power sine square x equals to 2 raised to power 0. So it means when you equate this with this, you will have sine square x equals to 0. And sine square x equals to 0 now, sine x will be equals to the square root of what? 0. Because if you square root both sides, if you square root this side, square cancel square root, then you have this. And what is square root of 0 is still 0. So sine x equals to 0. So now, when you want to find the value of x, you transfer this sign to the other side and it becomes what? Sine inverse. So the sine inverse of 0 is still what? 0. The sine inverse of 0 is still what? 0. So x equals to 0 degree. Now, when p equals to 2, so it means we can actually say 2 raised to power sine square x equals 2. And what raised to power? 2 raised to power what will give us 2 is 2 raised to power 1, right? So we can as well say 2 sine square x equals to 2 raised to power 1. So where 2 cancel what? 2. This is raised to power. So it means sine square x equals to what? 1. Let's solve that in another fold. So now we know that we know that sine square x equals to 1. Now when you look for then this, now you square root both sides, sine square x square root of 1. It means sine x now equals to 1. So now x equals to sine inverse of 1. So what is the sine inverse of 1? So what is the sine inverse of 1? The sine inverse of 1 equals to 90. So x equals to 90 degree. So it means that your x equals to 0 degree or x equals to 90 degree. Now let's test what we've done to see if we are actually correct. Now the question says 2 sine square x plus 2 cos square x equals to 3. Now let's try with x equals to 0. Now let's see if we get that. Now 2 sine square 0 plus 2 cos square is 0. Let's see if that will give you 3. Now cos square 0 is cos sine square is 0 means sine is 0 times sine is 0. So now what is sine is 0? What is sine is 0? Sine is 0 is 0. So it means that 0 times 0 still remains 0. That's 2 raised to power what is 0. Now what is cos square is 0? Cos square is 0 means that cos is 0 times cos is 0. So what is cos is 0? What is cos is 0? Let's check what is cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So it means 1 times 1 is 1. That's 2 raised to power 1. Abi? Now 2 raised to power 0 is 1 plus 2 raised to power 1 is what? Is 2. This gives us 3. So it means we are correct for x equals to 0. Now let's check when our x equals to 90. 2 sine square 90 degree plus 2 cos square 90 degree equals what? Now let's see if it will give us 0. What's sine square 90 degree? sin² 90 degree. Sin 90 degree now we give us that would be sin 90 degree times sin 90 degree. So what's sin 90 degree? Sin 90 degree is 1. So 1 times 1 will give us what? 1. What is cos² 90 degree? That's cos 90 degree times cos 90 degree. So what is cos 90 degree? Let's check cos 90 degree. So it is 0. 0 times 0 will give you is 0. That's equals to what? 0. So 2 raised to power 1 is 2 plus 2 raised to power 0 is 1 equals to 3. So this is your answer. So it means that our answer is correct by saying what? X equals to 0 degree. But there was no range even here. So since there was no range, x equals to 0 degree or x equals to 90 degree. Thank you very much.
Acetylworld Solutions, we lead the way, turning visions bright as day. With passion, wisdom, and so true, our mission is one, building pathways to success.